Right now, all of Central Florida's major theme parks are closed. They will stay closed.
Florida, the theme park capital of the world, where families fly from across the globe to ride roller coasters, meet cartoon characters. But now, Florida has more dead theme parks than most states have working ones. Think about that for a second. While Disney is charging you $20 to park your car and $18 for a turkey leg, there are dozens of abandoned parks rotting in the swamp just down the road. Parks where your mom screamed on roller coasters, your dad threw away money at carnival games, and your grandparents definitely broke a hip on a log flume. Now, those parks are parking lots, buffet joints, Walmarts. Florida didn't just let them die.
It knocked them down and put up a golden corral and a mini golf course.
Your wave pool is now a gravy pool. Your water slide is now a bread roll basket. Today, 10 abandoned amusement parks in Florida you won't believe exist. And number 1, Disney left their own parks to rot inside Disney World, still sitting behind locked gates. Mickey has a secret, and it's covered in green slime. Let's get into it. Number 10, Wet n Wild. We're starting with a name that just made every millennial's heart skip a beat. Wet n Wild. Orlando, Florida. For over 30 years, this was one of the most famous water parks on the entire planet. Not just Florida, Earth. If your childhood didn't involve almost drowning on the black hole slide while pretending you were fine, did you even grow up? Wet n Wild opened in 1977, created by George Millay, the same guy who invented SeaWorld. This man looked at the ocean and said, I can charge people for this, twice, and both times he was right. At its peak, Wet n Wild pulled over 1 million visitors every year. The black hole was legendary, a pitch-dark tube slide where you couldn't see anything and your life flashed before your eyes the entire way down. The bomb bay literally dropped the floor out from under you, like a trust exercise designed by a sociopath. And the lazy river? That was just a floating therapy session for parents who'd given up on supervising their children. Then in 2013, Universal bought Wet n Wild. Everyone assumed they'd upgrade it. Instead, Universal said, thanks for the memories, and scheduled a demolition. Wet n Wild closed on New Year's Eve 2016. The last guests walked out at midnight, and one of the most iconic water parks in the world was bulldozed within months. Today, the land is a hotel and parking structure. 30 years of screaming down water slides, replaced by a place to park your rental Nissan. The black hole became a black nothing. The bomb bay got bombed for real. And the lazy river?
It's now a lazy sidewalk leading to a hotel lobby.
Universal bought Wet n Wild just to kill it. That's not a business acquisition.
That's a hit job with a splash zone.
And that was only number 10. Like this video and subscribe, because number 1 involves Disney hiding something behind locked gates for 20 years. And no, it's not Walt's frozen head. Alright, next. Number 9, Cypress Gardens, Winter Haven, Florida. And this one is personal, because this park didn't just die. It got identity thefted by a toy company. Cypress Gardens opened in 1936, 35 years before Disney World existed. This was Florida's first theme park. The park that invented Central Florida tourism. Before Cypress Gardens, the only reason to visit Central Florida was if you were an alligator or lost. It was world famous for 2 things. Botanical gardens, over 8,000 plant species. So beautiful, they made grown men weep and allergic people file lawsuits. And water ski shows. Cypress Gardens literally invented watching people ski on water for entertainment. Before them, water skiing was just falling with extra steps. The Southern Belles, women in antebellum hoop skirts posing among the flowers, became one of the most iconic images in Florida tourism. They were basically the Instagram influencers of the 1940s, except they couldn't filter anything except sunlight through their parasols. Then Disney arrived in 1971, and Cypress Gardens went from the destination to that garden place your grandma likes. Attendance dropped like a Bombay floor. The park changed owners more times than a stolen car. Each new owner tried adding roller coasters to a botanical garden, which is like putting a DJ booth in a library. It doesn't fix the problem, it just confuses everyone. In 2009, after 73 years, Cypress Gardens closed. In 2011, Legoland opened on the same dirt. Some original gardens survive, trapped inside Legoland like hostages in a plastic castle. The water ski shows, the Southern Belles, gone. Replaced by overpriced Danish bricks that hurt more to step on than a sea urchin. Man, Florida's first theme park, 73 years of history, murdered by a toy company. The flowers are still alive though, which means they've outlasted their own park. That's either beautiful or deeply depressing. Probably both. Number 8, Marineland. Marineland, St. Augustine, Florida, opened in 1938. The OG marine park, the original.
The one that looked at a dolphin and thought, people will pay to see this.
And they were absolutely right.
For about 60 years.
Marineland opened 26 years before SeaWorld even existed. It was originally called Marine Studios, an underwater film studio. But when tourists started showing up uninvited like Florida Man at a gas station, the owners realized the audience was the business. For decades, Marineland was one of Florida's top attractions, so famous that the entire town around it literally renamed itself Marineland. Imagine your town loving an aquarium so much it changes its own name. That's like a city renaming itself Walmart because the store brought in foot traffic.
Actually, in Florida, that's probably happened.
Then SeaWorld opened in 1964 with deeper pockets and bigger tanks. Marineland couldn't compete. It's like bringing a goldfish bowl to a whale fight. SeaWorld had marketing budgets.
Marineland had a gift shop and hope.
By the 2000s, purchased by the Georgia Aquarium and converted into a conservation center. Marineland invented the entire marine park industry. SeaWorld copied the homework, made it flashier, and got all the credit.
Now most people drive past on A1A doing 65 without knowing they're passing the birthplace of every dolphin show that ever existed.
It's like driving past the Wright brothers' garage on your way to the airport.
Disrespectful, but also, nobody put up a sign.
Number 7, Splendid China, Kissimmee, Florida.
15 minutes from Disney World.
The most expensive what were they thinking in Florida theme park history. And honestly, that's a competitive category. In 1993, an agency of the Chinese government looked at Central Florida and said, you know what this place needs? A $100 million miniature replica of the Great Wall. And shockingly, that did not work out. 76 acres, over 60 miniature landmarks, the Forbidden City, the Terracotta Army, Stone Forest, all built at 1/10 scale by artisans flown from China to Kissimmee. The craftsmanship was museum quality. The cultural detail was extraordinary. And the attendance was what you'd expect when you park a miniature China 15 minutes from a castle that shoots fireworks and has a talking mouse. Which is to say, basically nobody. Turns out, families don't fly to Florida to look at tiny buildings. They fly to Florida to stand in line for 3 hours at Space Mountain and pretend they're having fun.
Who could have predicted this?
Literally everyone except the people who spent $100 million. Splendid China also faced constant protests from Tibetan rights groups, which is the kind of PR problem that miniature architecture cannot solve. The park closed in 2003 and then sat abandoned for 10 years. A $100 million park just decomposing in the humidity. Like a forgotten Tupperware in the back of Florida's fridge. Urban explorers documented the decay, tiny pagodas crumbling, the miniature Great Wall getting conquered by actual Florida vines, graffiti across replicas of ancient temples. Photos went viral because nothing says internet gold like a $100 million mistake slowly being eaten by nature. Demolished in 2013, $100 million. Miniature China in Kissimmee against Disney. If confidence were intelligence, this park would have been a genius. Number 6, Holy Land Experience. Okay, Holy Land Experience, Orlando, Florida, right on Interstate 4. And if you thought a miniature China next to Disney was wild, how about a biblical theme park where you watch Jesus get crucified daily, multiple times, between the gift shop and the funnel cake stand? The Holy Land Experience opened in 2001, featuring life-sized replicas of ancient Jerusalem, the Temple of Herod, the Wilderness Tabernacle, actors performing live crucifixion reenactments with fake blood and foam Roman swords every single day at 2 p.m., like holy clockwork. Only in Florida can you watch a man pretend to die for your sins, buy a souvenir cross, eat a churro, and be at Universal by 4. The scheduling alone is a miracle. The park was taken over by Trinity Broadcasting Network. At its peak, 200,000 visitors a year came to experience biblical history through the medium of theme park entertainment, which is a sentence that should not exist, but here we are in Florida. Controversies piled up like sins at confession. Tax-exempt battles, lawsuits, financial scandals, neighbors complaining about the daily crucifixion shows, because apparently watching a man fake die on a cross every afternoon affects your property values. Who knew? Closed in 2020 during the pandemic, never reopened, buildings still standing, Jerusalem replica still there. An abandoned biblical movie set on one of Florida's busiest highways. A theme park about eternal life that couldn't survive 20 years. The irony isn't just thick, it's biblical. Number 5, Miracle Strip. Miracle Strip Amusement Park, Panama City Beach, Florida. And this one still hits different because it wasn't killed by Disney. It was killed by greed wearing a hard hat. From 1963 to 2004, Miracle Strip was the beachside amusement park of the Panhandle. 41 years sitting right on the white sand. The Starliner, a classic wooden roller coaster, was the kind of ride that made your stomach drop and your faith in structural engineering question itself. You could smell salt air at the top of the drop. The whole park smelled like corn dogs, sunscreen, and childhood. Families came back every summer like migratory birds with season passes. Grandparents brought grandkids to the same rides they'd survived decades earlier. Miracle Strip wasn't just an amusement park. It was Panama City Beach's entire personality. Without it, the town is just sand, spring breakers, and regret. Then developers showed up. They looked at 41 years of family memories sitting on prime beachfront and saw one thing: condominiums. They didn't see the Starliner, they saw square footage. They didn't hear children laughing, they heard cash registers. In 2004, Miracle Strip closed. The Starliner was dismantled. The site was scraped clean for condos that nobody lives in 10 months out of the year. Man. 20 years later, people still mourn Miracle Strip online like a dead relative. Reddit threads, Facebook groups, comment sections that read like therapy sessions. Because Panama City Beach without Miracle Strip is like a birthday party without cake. Technically still a party, but everyone knows something's wrong. Number 4, Boardwalk and Baseball. Boardwalk and Baseball, Haines City, Florida. The greatest double failure in Florida history. Built on land so cursed, it should come with a warning label and a priest. This exact piece of dirt first housed Circus World, a park opened in 1973 by the Ringling Brothers family. Circus performers, elephant rides, a tent-shaped building the size of a football field. The concept was brilliant on paper and catastrophic in reality. It struggled for over a decade because, surprise, Disney was 30 minutes away with better everything. Circus World died. Then someone looked at this cursed land and said, I have an even better idea. Boardwalk and Baseball opened in 1987 with 32 rides and Major League Spring Training. The Kansas City Royals trained here. Real baseball, real roller coasters, fake success. It was designed to compete with EPCOT. It lasted 3 years. 3,095 days of optimism followed by bankruptcy. That's not a business plan. That's a long form break. A park built on the literal grave of another failed park, on what might be Florida's most haunted piece of real estate, haunted not by ghosts, but by terrible business decisions. After closing, the Hurricane Coaster stood rusting against the sky for a decade, like a monument to ambition that didn't do its market research. Finally demolished in 2003. And what sits there now? A Walmart supercenter. From circus elephants to roller coasters to bulk toilet paper, that's not the circle of life. That's the circle of Florida, where every dream eventually becomes a parking lot with a pharmacy inside. Numero 3, Mystery Funhouse. Mystery Funhouse, Orlando, Florida, right on I-Drive. And if you grew up in Central Florida between 1976 and 2001, this name just unlocked a memory you forgot you had. Mystery Funhouse wasn't Disney, it wasn't Universal, it was weird, cheap, slightly terrifying, and absolutely perfect. 15 chambers of spinning tunnels, mirror mazes, moving floors, and things jumping at you from the dark. It was the kind of place where kids screamed, parents questioned their life choices, and everyone left with motion sickness and a smile. For 25 years, Mystery Funhouse was I-Drive's quirkiest attraction. The perfect antidote to Disney's polished perfection. Disney was the honor student. Mystery Funhouse was the kid who ate glue, but was somehow more fun at parties. You didn't go for the quality, you went for the chaos. And the chaos delivered every single time. No refunds, no complaints. Just pure, unfiltered mayhem for the price of a large pizza. It was a rite of passage. Your first mirror maze panic attack. Your first spinning tunnel faceplant. Your first time pretending you weren't scared while absolutely being scared. Mystery Funhouse didn't need a $1 billion budget. It needed plywood, strobe lights,
And your overactive childhood imagination.
total cost of terror, about $12. Then in 2001, the property was sold. Mystery Funhouse was demolished. Today it's a parking lot on iDrive. Thousands of tourists walk past every day without knowing Orlando's weirdest attraction once stood right there. No plaque, no marker, no memorial. 15 chambers of childhood trauma erased for parking. That's like demolishing your childhood treehouse and replacing it with a mailbox. Functional? Sure. The same? Not even close. Number 2, Water Mania, Kissimmee, Florida. The water park that got ghosted harder than a bad Tinder date. For nearly 20 years, Water Mania was the scrappy underdog of Florida water parks. Not flashy, not fancy, just good, honest slides and a wave pool that hit different on a 95-degree day. 500,000 visitors a year. Not because it was the best, but because it was affordable and didn't require a second mortgage to park. The lazy river was called Cruisin' Creek, which sounds like a country song about doing nothing. And that's exactly what every parent used it for. 20 minutes of floating while pretending you were watching the kids. The double berserker sounded like a Viking attack, but was actually just 2 slides bolted together. The Anaconda slide was named after a snake that squeezes the life out of you. Accurate based on the wedgie it gave you at the bottom. Then in August 2005, the owners pulled the plug with almost no warning. Season pass holders found out by letter. Sorry, we're done. Here's a coupon for Wet n Wild. That's not a closure. That's a breakup text. It's not you, it's us. Actually, it's you. We're closing. Here's somebody else's number. And what replaced those beloved water slides? A golden corral and a mini golf course. 500,000 annual visitors riding water slides, replaced by unlimited mashed potatoes and windmill putts. The wave pool became a gravy pool. The lazy river became a lazy Susan. The double berserker became the double cheeseburger. Water Mania deserved a funeral. Instead, it got a buffet. Rest in ranch dressing. Gone but not forgotten, mostly because the Golden Corral keeps the memory alive. Every time someone whispers, "This used to be a water park," between bites of mac and cheese. Number 1, Disney's River Country and Discovery Island. Disney's River Country and Discovery Island, Walt Disney World, Orlando. This isn't a small park that ran out of money. This is Disney, the company that charges $18 for a turkey leg and $50 to skip a line. And they abandoned their own parks, inside their own property, left them to rot like leftovers nobody claimed from the office fridge. River Country opened in 1976 as Disney's first water park. Tom Sawyer themed. Rope swings, rock slides, filtered Bay Lake water. The kind of place where your childhood felt like a Norman Rockwell painting with chlorine. Families loved it because it was Disney without the Disney prices. Just kidding, it was still expensive, but it felt cheaper. Discovery Island was a bird sanctuary on Bay Lake. Flamingos, parrots, only reachable by boat, which also felt like Disney wanted to make it as inconvenient as possible. You want to see birds? Great. Row. River Country closed 2001. Discovery Island closed 1999. And Disney never tore them down. They locked the gates and walked away. Like a billionaire abandoning a house because they didn't feel like cleaning it. Whoa. Today, slides are consumed by vegetation, vines strangling everything. Like the jungle is personally offended by the Tom Sawyer theme. Pools filled with algae so thick you could walk on it. The only miracle happening in this park. Faded Disney signage still clinging to walls like it's waiting for someone to come back. Spoiler, nobody's coming back. Discovery Island is even creepier. Empty bird cages rusted shut, like the birds escaped and filed restraining orders. Visible from Disney's contemporary resort, guests can see the abandoned island, but you can't go there. Disney security patrols the water like it's protecting state secrets. Disney rotting is like finding out Santa has a criminal record. It shatters everything you believed. Disney could demolish these in a week. Instead, nothing. The slides rust, the pools get greener, the jungle votes to annex more territory, and the locked gates stay locked. If that's not the creepiest thing in Florida, I don't know what is. So there you have it, 10 abandoned amusement parks in Florida that most people have no idea existed. From Wet n Wild's assassination on New Year's Eve, to Disney's own water slides being eaten alive by the jungle. Florida builds big, Florida dreams big, and when those dreams die, Florida just leaves them in the swamp and lets nature handle the funeral. If you've been to any of these parks, drop it in the comments. And like this video and subscribe! More videos like this are coming. See you in the next one. Take care. And watch where you step in Florida.